Hey folks, Mark Ludwig here, giving you a nature nerding out warning here. I'm going to kind of run through my long case for why I want to be drain commissioner and give you the deep case as well. So anyway, here it goes. A couple hundred years ago, Europeans came to Michigan and found it was really wet in southern Michigan. Like, there was a lot of swampland, there's a lot of high water tables, and as a result, when Michigan became a state, they almost immediately passed the initial drain laws, and there's been powerful drain commissioner laws in Michigan ever since. And that's because, like I said, a lot of water. We set to work busily for a better part of 200 years, and we have ended up with the system we have now. Individual drainage districts, which are their own kind of little thing. They're their own checking account, if you will, and everybody in that drainage district kind of works together financially to fund maintaining that drainage district, and the drain commissioner decides exactly who pays what, and that's pretty fair description, I think. The drain commissioner's got a lot of power and a lot of discretion. Carrying on, well, and I might as well talk about money. The drain commissioner can pass out bills, $5,000 a year per mile of drain, and it sounds like a lot of money until you think about how long a mile is and how many trees grow along drains and things like that. It does add up in a hurry, and there's a lot to do. And in Allegan County, in some places the drains are very well maintained, particularly what I would think of as our high-intensity landscapes, agriculture around our urban areas. But as you kind of peter out from intensive agriculture and our urban and town areas in particular, you do start running into difficult situations just because there's less people around to support a drainage district. Anyway, I digress. Suffice to say, there's a ton of power in this office. What would I do with it? Well, I would get on getting ready for climate change. One of my beefs with the current drain commissioner is I don't think she's at all serious about climate change. I interviewed for a job in her office some years ago when it was my turn to ask questions. First one out of my mouth, what are we doing about climate change? The answer is nothing, and that's pretty much her whole answer. I invite her to contradict me if I'm wrong and explain her position. That'd be great. Another thing you should know about this campaign, by the way, is that as far as my opponent goes, the campaign, as far as I can tell, consists of signs that came out of people's garages and people's barns, and one interview she gave to the Holland Sentinel. As far as I can tell, that's it. And there's no campaign finance paperwork, so I'm going with that for now. Anyway, getting back to southern Michigan and Allegan County, we have a lot of agriculture in Allegan County. It needs a lot of service to farm a lot of the land it does because it's heavy, there's a lot of clay. You got to move water off it in a timely manner. 2019, we couldn't move water off in a timely manner. We set a record for what are called preventive planting acres, and in fact, we doubled the record. This is when the federal government pays you for your crop insurance for not being able to plant because of flooding. And I do want to take care of agriculture, and I also need their help. And I need the help of our towns and cities, and I need the help of every landowner really to think about drainage on their land and hold on to as much of their water as they can. In the case of agriculture, that means lower risk practices such as no-till, such as cover cropping, lots of different ways to get to the end goal, but really, as far as I'm concerned, and frankly as far as the law, the generally accepted agricultural management practices in Michigan, the GAMPs, say you really can't have a lot of soil erosion. You have a little, that's the extent of act of God, it's a natural process, blah blah blah. But the kind of soil erosion some farms tolerate is really unacceptable, and my plan is to use that great topographic map, among other things, and maybe a drone we could buy for the drain office with that LiDAR capability, use the laser, and we figure out how much soil left during a storm event. And we'll be fair, we'll go down to the bottom of your hill and we'll see how much of the soil ended up down there, and we'll send you the report on that too. But the soil that we can add up to and that we can surmise came from a particular place, if we got to go clean it up, we'll send some bills. And we'll also work in a friendly manner with our local farmers and get them what they want. So helping our farmers and asking for some help. our cities, can we make sure that we're holding water where we can, where we're not overloading county drains? And again, on the flip side, what do we need to do for our cities to make sure that they are getting the services they need to serve their citizens and not flood their areas? Thinking about areas like Hopkins, thinking about, I mean, really, there's really anywhere you go in this county, there's about a 10% high risk flood. 10% of the residences are high risk. Hopkins area more like 30%, so it's still pretty significant. Anyway, other things I want to do, and there was some made today on the WHTC, the interview with Gary Stevens, about me wanting to be the Lorax, and I still do really want to be your Lorax. What do I mean by that? I want to think about the environment writ large. I want to talk about the environment writ large. I want to talk about disaster management and planning, and using things like modern tools like Geographic Information System, this LiDAR topographic map I've referred to really get out there and do the planning we need to do, so when we see these huge climate change driven storms coming at us, we have some idea that we're really going to have a problem here, we're really going to have a problem here, or we're going to have a problem here first and here second, and da 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 da. I think it'll be very enlightening, and I also certainly want to talk to the existing drain office, people with existing problems, and learn from people as well. I'd also like to think about drainage beyond what is currently the drainage commissioner's jurisdiction, those areas that are not on county drains. I don't mean to assert unreasonable authority on these areas, nothing like that, but I do want people to understand how to form a drainage district if they want to do that. And that could be a large drainage district, such as Lower Kalamazoo Lake, going out into Lake Michigan. We could think about a sea gate on the end of there, so we could at least close the door when you get those big storm surges coming in there and get an extra 15 inches of water in your town, which is not good in Saugatuck, where there's already water in the streets. On the other end of the spectrum, small drains, we sometimes call them orphan drains, that are not currently being served. They're not currently in a drainage district. But we could certainly think about forming a new drainage district, even if it's relatively small, if that's what people want to do. That process is there in law, it's well written out. I'd like to go around, explain to people what the drain law can do for them. Writ large, certainly I want to talk about the quality of our environment, not just moving water from here to there, but where can we park water? Where do we need to park water so that it's there